Gentlemen, Antonio here. Today I'm going to give you 7 reasons on why you should start wearing a watch. I know many of you guys are thinking, Antonio, why should I wear a watch? I've got a smartphone and this thing does everything along with telling me the time. So I think watches are redundant, not really something I need. Guys, I'm here to tell you, as someone that was in your camp just a few months ago, that wearing a watch has a lot of benefits. The 7 reasons I have for you. Number 1, convenience. Immediately what I noticed when I'm wearing this watch is whenever somebody asks me the time, I want to know the time. It is a flip of a wrist and boom, I know what it is. Versus my smartphone is almost always in my pocket. So when I'm driving, you guys know what I'm talking about. You're trying in there, try to grab it out of your pocket, and you spend a minute to half a minute trying to figure out what time it is. And if you're a watch wearer, by that time you already know. So the convenience, and that's where it comes from. In the article that supports this video, I go a lot more into the history of where it comes from, but convenience of the wristwatch cannot be beat by a smartphone or pretty much any other device. Now, point number 2, function. So the function of a watch is to help you tell time. Of a smartphone, it's an afterthought. And what happens after a few hours with these things? And maybe 8 hours if you've got a good one. The battery runs out. Exactly. Think about that. If you need to know the time, if time is really important, and that's why military men, why scuba divers, why pilots, why we still wear watches in those industries. So the function of being able to tell time, that is the sole responsibility of the watch here. So if you think about it, it's not going to, on many of these, actually they wind up, or they actually have a battery which will last years, or they have a mechanism within them in which actually the movement of your body is going to keep energy within the watch. So point number 3 is simplicity. So when I look at the time, I know the time, I move on. When you look at your smartphone, what do? You check out the time, but you also, oh, I've got a message. I need to call this person. I want to play video games. So the simplicity of a watch actually makes life, I think, a little bit less distracting. It allows you to focus in on the time. And some of these watches, especially, the Bauhaus designed by the 5th, all it does is tell time. It doesn't try to tell me all these other things. It doesn't have a calculator on it. You can get watches that are a lot more complicated. Obviously, the smartwatch, Apple just put that thing out. And there's a number of other brands out there. So there are opportunities if you want that. But I like the simplicity of a watch, and I think it's a great thing when you have items in your wardrobe that simply serve one single purpose and do it better than anyone else. So point number 4 is the style. And I was kind of alluding to this at the beginning when I talked about compliments. Wearing a watch, I felt it up my style. It was something I got compliments on. And I felt, I don't know, I just felt that people were checking out the watch. They were curious about it, and I felt good about it. I feel it really did add a bit of, decoration to the wrist. It's kind of like when you start to wear bits of jewelry besides your wedding ring. If you have the confidence, you start feeling good about it, all of a sudden it is something that you can have a very positive response from a lot of people, and they're going to take notice. And as Nudie Cohen said, it's better to be looked over than overlooked. So point number 5, guys, is craftsmanship. So when it comes to the building of a watch, you're going to find that this is something that sometimes, especially the higher end watches, we're talking 2 to 3 craftsmen are working on this watch for a period of months. Initially, handmade. A lot of the things that go into a watch, it isn't something that, they can just stamp out in a machine factory. Now, some of them can and some of them are, but the craftsmanship that goes with this is something I think to be celebrated. Point number 6, let's talk about heirloom pieces. This ties very close to craftsmanship. And you may say, $100 watch, that's what these cost over at the 5th. It may not be an heirloom piece for you. However, it may be if you actually take care of it, if it's something that you're careful with, you don't try to, smash it up against anything. And there are watches made that can withstand a lot of, pressure, a lot of abuse. However, heirloom pieces, it's not about so much what you spend, it's the emotion and the relationship that you have with that watch, and that you pass on that message to whoever you pass the watch onto. So I've seen many people pass on heirloom pieces which weren't super expensive, but were actually well made, were a great deal, and the person that owned them loved them, and so that's what's passed on in an heirloom piece. So point number 7, when a man starts to wear a watch, it's not about telling time, but it's about his relationship with time. And I wish I could give credit to that. If you know who said that, please let me know down in the comments, guys. But as I started wearing a watch, what I found is that I started paying more attention to time, to, you know, how much time I had left in the day. And I've heard some people talk about, you know, it's a constant reminder of how much time they actually have left on this earth. I noticed that on my last video, a lot of the guys in the comments are like, Antonio, you don't know enough about watches, you need to go back. And guess what I did? Yeah, I went off and I bought all these books and I started studying, spending a lot more time learning about watches, because I realized there's a passionate community. There's a huge group of men and women out there who love watches, who dive deep into this stuff. So I'm looking at this community, I'm looking at the passion, I'm looking at all these people that have this special relationship. The only other relationship I've seen with men have that reminds me of what I see here with watches is in the car industry, and how some men just, you know, they have names for their cars. I have a name for my car, which I'm not going to tell you guys, and maybe if enough people email me, I'll eventually reveal it. But it's that type of relationship that you start to develop with an inanimate object, and you find that you actually, it enhances, it makes your life a little bit more interesting. So guys, those are my 7 reasons. The last one a bit more philosophical. Guys, in the comments, please let me know what you think about these reasons. If you have reasons that go beyond what I talked about, or if you think I missed something, if you think I'm wrong, guys, you know I love to hear from you. I get down there and I interact with you. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.